Hello there friends, and today we're going to be discussing Jones versus Aspinall. What is it all about? So Jones has just retired and given up his undisputed heavyweight title, and Tom Aspinall is now the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, as it should have been in my opinion. Now we're going to discuss, as Jones ducks Tom, is it the right decision for Jon to give up at this point? Who would have actually won a fight between those two and the UFC heavyweight division? So first of all, did Jones not want to fight Tom, and did he duck him? So both these guys got obviously a tremendous amount of respect for in their fighting ability, incredible. I mean, what Jon Jones hasn't done means maybe the greatest fighter of all time. Undefeated, really, if you take away his disqualification, which I think you should do. You know, basically 30-0, which you just don't get that in mixed martial arts where there's so many variables going on. Extremely impressive, and fighting like the top guys each and every time. So you can't, slag off Jones and say he hasn't fought the tough fights in his career, because that's all he's pretty much done is just championship level fights. Having said that, do I think he didn't want to fight with Tom? Yes, I do think that. I think he was afraid to fight Tom, and rightly so, to be fair, because Tom is an extremely dangerous threat. You know, he's way bigger. He's like 35 pounds of proper solid muscle bigger. He's taller, and Jones was actually fighting with a reach advantage and a size advantage mostly in his light heavyweight career. And the two fights he did have at heavyweight, Cyril Gane wasn't a great grappler. He knew it as a clear path to victory there. And Stipe Miocic, if we're being honest, he was past his best. Probably past his best by about sort of a good 7 years as well. And I felt he looked like that in the fight. And it's not taking anything away from Jon Jones with his incredible spinning back kick victory. It was super impressive, and amazing. The guy that size can throw and land that perfectly. But it wasn't Tom Aspinall. Now, who do I think would honestly win a fight between those two? Honestly, I believe Tom Aspinall wins that fight, and Jon Jones knows it. It doesn't mean he can't win, but they fight 10 times. I reckon Tom Aspinall's got that 7 out of 10 times at least, just because he's faster, he's bigger, stronger. He's a new wave of MMA heavyweight. He's the full package. And the only question mark really is, can he go the distance? Because we haven't seen it. He just finishes everyone so incredibly quickly. And these top hard guys, it's so impressive. And but we do know Jon Jones, he will be there for 5-5s, fighting hard the whole way through. So that is the only question mark really on it for me, as Tom Aspinall, he would be, in my mind, the clear favourite. Probably wouldn't be on the betting side actually, because Jon Jones is like a household name, and Tom Aspinall maybe isn't quite yet. But I think Jon is a very clever guy. He sees the massive risk in Tom. With such a well-rounded game, and he doesn't want to put his legacy in the line. And I honestly, I can understand it. He's 38 years old. He's not going to be getting better now. It could only be the decline down. Father Time gets everyone eventually. Tom Aspinall, 32 years old, absolutely in his prime, training like an animal every single day, and Jon is off slacking and drinking and enjoying life. As much as I want to see the fight, I think for him, for Jon Jones and his legacy, it's actually a very clever and wise move. And Jon is a clever guy. So I can't really fault him, to be fair. But I would still love to see that. And I am a little bit biased. I'm an English man. Tom Aspinall is an English guy, and I just resonate with him more. He's just a really lovely guy, family guy, humble, and extremely talented, which is like a rare mix. And I just think he's a great role model for all the kids getting into MMA out there. of what you can be. Like, you can be a respectful, nice guy and still be a UFC champion and earn all the millions, which he absolutely deserves. So yeah, I would definitely be rooting for Tom Aspinall on that one, even though I think Jon Jones is an absolute legend when it comes to fighting, but slightly more of a checkered past, I'm sure, if everyone knew the full details. But an amazing fighter and a very intelligent guy. So the UFC heavyweight division, what happens now? Well, Tom's in a bit of a tricky place there because there isn't that many people to fight. He's beaten all the top guys. Cyril Gane, he hasn't fought, but didn't look great in his last fight, and I thought he lost that fight. And then you have Almeida, Curtis Blades beat him up and stopped him, and Tom Aspinall's already just knocked out Curtis Blades. So there isn't really anyone that's like, wow, this is like a clear contender. So it's a tricky one for him. Obviously they'll find one, be someone in the top 5, and yeah, I think John's gonna blow through him, if I'm honest. Obviously heavyweights, it's one punch can change everything, but Tom Aspinall's got those skills where he can take it to the floor, you know, he can knock you out standing, and yeah, he really is the full package. And I really hope he goes on an absolute tear now and keeps his title for as long as possible and makes the money he deserves, because you know, I've listened to his story and his struggle, sort of. Yeah, most MMA guys, you don't make any money, you know, initially, and it was only until he was like 30 years old did he make a 6-figure salary, you know, from one of his fights, which is crazy considering he was before that already like a top 5 UFC fighter. It just shows you how little money there is, you know, in the bottom runs of MMA. And it's only when you make it to the absolute top can you really make the big money. I suppose it's sort of the same as football really, but I think there is more money in the lower levels in football and it isn't really there yet in MMA. But hopefully that changes as the sport becomes more mainstream and the money starts trickling down. So yeah, this is my thoughts on it. I think Jones has made the right decision. I think he would get his ass kicked if he fought Tom Aspinall, but he could win as well. You know, like I say, 7-3 for Tom, in my opinion. But what do you think? Let me know your opinions. I'm very interested to hear, and you never know. Could this all be a ruse? Could Jon Jones come out of retirement and then surprise us all and get his massive payday? I would really love to see that, but probably isn't going to happen until he sees a massive chink in Tom Aspinall's armour, because there isn't much footage on Tom. And if he could see a clear path to victory, I think he would go for this. And if it was a different champion in, I think he would then be looking for that big payday and going for it. But I think it's Tom that's putting him off, as he knows that's going to be a tall order for anyone. But I wish Jon Jones a very happy retirement, what he's achieved. Absolute legendary GOAT status, 100%. And come on, Tom Aspinall, keep that heavyweight title going. Thanks for watching.